me a little bit about, I mean, just strictly from your perspective, especially with everything that's been going on in the Fulton, what it's like to be back right now.
It is the best. It's to have live people in the theater after so long without them. It is a gift on a daily basis, both wearing both of my hats, in both the staff position that I have here, but also as an actor, to have those people on a nightly and daily basis sharing the space with us it's really a gift. It's so lovely to see faces and have people back in this building, because that's what it's built for.
Opening night already, tell me what that was like, and then also go ahead and do some of the administrative duty as well on that side of your job, telling me what some requirements are as well. But first, give me the emotion.
It was overwhelming is probably too strong a word, because I didn't break down into a puddle of tears and emotion, but it was so fulfilling to have a group of people who clearly love this building, love this community, love this organization, who were there to support all of us. But to have them just, in some cases, it was the first time that they had seen each other for 18 months. And certainly that group of people together for that opening night was just, it was such a thrill. And it was a high that we all sort of floated on for the next couple of days, because both as a cast member and as a staff member, to have those folks back in the building was just such a gift. And in terms of what we're doing compliance wise, we are requiring, and a lot of this is dictated by the actors union. Actors Equity has said that in order to make sure that our union members are safe, we are requiring that theaters do have audience members wear masks. We know it's an inconvenience, but it's something that we sincerely appreciate, because it makes sure that we keep all of our audience members safe, of course, but it also makes sure that the cast and the crew and the folks who are involved with the production are not in any way compromised. And what that does is make sure that we're going to be able to continue to produce all of the stuff that we have in store for our audiences for the rest of the season, which is, obviously in the immediate term, it's important, but it's also important to make sure that people keep in mind that this is for the long-term success of the season.
Speaking of the long-term success of the season, Fun Home, something that was on tap last year to be in the studio. So
Yes.
Tell me what it's been like to bring that down to the main stage, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, we had a teen lounge on Thursday last week, and one of the things and we also had a post-show discussion after that performance, and one of the things that came up in both the teen lounge and the post-show discussion was how this is a show that is challenging for some audiences. It deals with things that our main stage audiences aren't necessarily used to dealing with, but it's such a beautifully written and constructed show, and the cast, aside from the guy who plays Bruce Bechtel, is really, really good. It's such a tremendous group of people, and the opportunity to share this particular story with this community in a larger way than what it was originally planned for is, I don't think we get letters on a daily basis or emails literally on a daily basis of people who are so grateful that we have done this show on the main stage. And that is really gratifying, to know that it is speaking to people in ways that they might not necessarily have heard if it were still in the studio space.
Without giving everything away, let's talk about the subject material, and what hits home, both for you as the actor portraying that role, and then also, really, I mean, as a parent too, because you see this girl, you see Allison come through all three stages of life and grief and dealing with the aftermath of her father. So just talk about that for me a little bit.
It's It's a great story, and I think the thing for me, selfishly, that resonates the most is the way that we view and make peace with who our parents are as adults. When we look at our parents as kids and then as teenagers and as young adults, we see them through all of these different prisms. As a kid, they're sort of our superheroes, good or bad. And we begin to see them, I think, more as human beings with faults, with issues, that you don't see as kids because they're your superheroes. And I think one of the things that resonates so deeply for me about this show is the way that it allows us to see our parents as human beings, and they're not perfect. Bruce is a flawed, deeply troubled human being, but ultimately, the way that Allison deals with her memory of him, and I think ultimately comes to find some kind of peace with who he was and how that shaped who she is now as an adult, is what I think is so moving for me about the piece.
What is it like, what does it say to have this show be the one that the Fulton comes back with, that they lead with?
I think it's incredibly brave. I think it allows us to do what theater, I think, is supposed to do, which is to engage our audiences and create conversations that hopefully folks take home, that they continue to talk about what this play did for them or did to them or made them think about or made them angry about. I mean, theater isn't necessarily just supposed to be something that you sit back and enjoy. Ideally, theater is something that you move to the edge of your seat to be a part of. And that's why I think theater is probably the most sort of not the most important, but it's the one that you can't do this in movies. You can't have a conversation with the audience in a movie. And I think it's really important, given where we have been as a society over the past 18 months, and where we continue to move, that we encourage conversations about difficult things, even if it means that we don't agree. To have those conversations is what's important, I think.
Important as always. And my last question really is just audience takeaway. It's their first night back in the Fulton. It's the first show ever. The cast is back after 18 months and it's a very impactful story. So overall, from the entire experience, whether it's just being back or whether it's related to the show or both, what ideally does the audience leave with for show back at the Fulton?
I hope that they leave with a sense of community and a sense of family. I mean, this show ultimately is about a family, and it is about how we make peace with who and what we are as members of that family and as individuals. And I hope that they do that both for their own, families that they're a part of, but also who and what they are as part of our entire community. You can't go through a period of time where you're not allowed to be together without having some real gratitude. I hope for the first time that you're actually allowed to gather in a space and share a theatrical experience. And I hope the gratitude for what that is what folks leave with.